Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on the GSMC Podcast Network. Hello, world. How was your Christmas? Was it merry? Let me be politically correct. Happy holidays. You know, all of us don't call the same time the same thing. So, winter time to enjoy people that you love and be around. Hope that was joyous for everyone that participated in it. We had some outstanding basketball on Christmas. By the way, sorry if you guys missed me. I was enjoying Christmas on Monday, similar to you. So there was not a recording. So hopefully you didn't miss me too bad. And the gifts that you did receive made up for you missing me. Hopefully. And if you didn't miss me, well, then that's just unfortunate. We had some great lineups on Monday. Incredible lineups. We had Philly versus the Knicks, Cavs versus Golden State, like that infamous manufactured rivalry that somehow became a rivalry because Golden State got really good and LeBron went back to Cleveland. So we got a rivalry within that. And then we had Washington versus Boston, OKC versus Houston, and the Timberwolves against the Lakers. We had some solid matchups, some very, very solid matchups. And what I want to say about one of them is that usually we have this thing when the Warriors play the Cavs and we're like, oh my God, why don't we just get to the finals already? The Warriors are going to go to the finals. Why do we have to do this thing? However, because Steph Curry isn't playing, it kind of set things up for a slightly more interesting affair because Steph didn't play. So that means you got KD and you got KT. You got Klay Thompson and you got Kevin Durant and you got Draymond Green. You got the rest of the squad. So it kind of made for a more, let's say, a more interesting affair. Warriors were down basically for I'm not going to say a lot of the game, but for, a good amount of the game. They came back, end up taking the W. No pun intended. Not strangely, but the baller of the game, non-surprisingly, was Kevin Durant. He had 25 buckets and 5 blocks. This was a big deal. The whole NBA stratosphere lost its mind because Kevin Durant blocked LeBron James' shot several times, but there was some fouls that happened. There's this massive debate about whether or not it was a foul, but we don't really know if it was a foul or not. Some schools thought say it was a foul. Some people say it wasn't a foul. The way I see it is that I feel like right now, like during this time, if we're watching basketball on Christmas and we just want to see a competitive game, and we have like a 6'8" man who is like genetically superior and the 6'11" man that is genetically superior. And they both have a goal. And one man's goal is to score this bucket. The other man's goal is to stop this man from scoring this bucket. Then there's going to be a foul. And the way I see it, I saw the play. Yes, it was a foul. Very much so. The NBA missed the call. However, I'm glad they didn't call it. Why am I glad they didn't call it? Because I don't want to see free throws at that time during the game. I just don't want to. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. You want to know why I don't? I'm going to tell you why I don't. Because if they called it, And they would have said, there would have been complaints. Oh, LeBron got bailed out. Why would they call that during this time of the game? And if they did, also if they called it, Kevin Durant wouldn't get any credit for his defense that he played. But instead, because he blocked LeBron James, we got this stat of 5 blocks. Suddenly we're going to go ahead and call Kevin Durant the best player in the world because he went up against LeBron. We're going to say that. We're going to say all that stuff. Like, oh my God, so is Kevin Durant now the best player in the world? Is he that guy? Ever since Paul Pierce gave us the hot take last year during the finals, Kevin Durant is surpassing LeBron James as the best player in the world. So now, since that hot take was done in June, now we have, it's no longer a hot take because everyone's saying it. Me personally, I don't believe that. I don't believe that Kevin Durant is better than LeBron. Yes, Kevin Durant is a better shooter than LeBron James. Absolutely. But floor to floor, if we take like 4 players, we played 4 random players. I mean, random people. If I named 4 dudes, you guys didn't even know who they were. Like, I'm talking about 4 random guys like Bob Smith, Joe Jenkins, Terrell Smith, and Lenny Lewis. Those 4 guys on Kevin Durant, then those 4 guys on LeBron James' team. Who's going to be better? I mean, now, if these 4 guys can't play basketball at all whatsoever, then I'm going to say that, if they couldn't play basketball at all, like not even a little bit, Kevin Durant's team would be better because Kevin Durant would just keep pulling up, and LeBron James' guys would just be in the way. But if those guys have a lick of basketball IQ just a little bit, LeBron could put them in the right place to score. And LeBron's hitting threes right now. So I still feel like LeBron is the best player in the world. And I don't really think that that's something that can be argued. However, because we didn't make this foul call and the Warriors got this W, then we can go ahead and say, okay, all right, KD is surpassing him. KD's playing a bunch of defense, which I'm going to say that Kevin Durant, I never thought Kevin Durant was a bad defender. I just felt like he got a bad rap as being a defender because he gets a lot of buckets. But for him to be like that athletic and like be around the rim, he's a good defender. Just by default, really. Like, I mean, when you see massively big players playing D, there's times when you're like, wait, that guy's in the wrong position. But if it's one of those situations where they are in the wrong position, I think it's obvious. Like Karl Anthony Towns, he's not very much known for his defense, but I think it's rare for a big guy to not be known for defense. Like, there's not many places that you can be if you're that long. Like, you're already all over the place anyway. So I've always kind of had Kevin Durant's back as him being a defender. I just feel like once he got to the Warriors and there were more scorers, he was able to maybe have a better eye on his defensive role. Why, you may ask? Well, when there's other people to score, and you're not always looked to score, that means that when the ball comes off of the rim, you don't necessarily have to always be looking for the ball. Even though with Westbrook, there were times when he wasn't getting the ball, I just feel like he's able to play more D because he's able to, like, hey, you know what? If I block this shot, I don't have to worry about being the person that's going to be the outlet and hang out by the wing. It just takes a little bit of pressure off you. I'm not saying that it makes you want to cherry pick less. I'm just saying there's a possibility that you might not need to cherry pick as much if you have other scorers on your team. So the Cavaliers took this L held by the Warriors, which I also feel like I also kind of feel like we underestimate how good LeBron is. Yes, I said that. We, society, as a staff, record label, and the crew, we all underestimate how good LeBron is. I'll tell you why. Dwayne Wade didn't play, and IT still isn't there, and Derrick Rose is still like getting things figured out with life and his ankle and all that. So LeBron is playing with Kevin Love. Kevin Love did have 31. He had 18 rebounds, so Kevin Love did ball, but LeBron's playing by himself. Now, of course the Warriors didn't have Steph Curry, but they still had their other Warriors, and we were going to take the time to just take away LeBron's crown as like the best player in the world because he lost to the Warriors and apparently he only had 20 points. So the buzz was that LeBron only had 20 points as though he's not averaging 28, 7, and 7. So because he had 20, suddenly like he got shut down. But that's how averages work, right? Because I mean, the 2 nights before that, he had 39. So I don't know why if LeBron doesn't have a stellar night, then we have to say, oh my God, like this is insane. I can't believe LeBron's falling off. No. Calm down. LeBron's doing everything he possibly can on his team. Everything he can. And yeah, admittedly, he played a bad game. He gave an interview after the game, basically like, stating that he was fouled and it's okay. What are you going to do about it? That's what he said. And congratulating the Warriors. He said they got their butts kicked on the transition. And he also said this game was like a fill out kind of game. Like it was a fill out, just trying to feel where the Warriors are at, like prior to the finals. Basically, this was LeBron's finals prediction. Like, yo, just so you guys know, we're going to the finals, and this right here was just the precursor to what's actually going to happen when we play them in the finals. Just giving you guys a slight heads up. So we appreciate that, LeBron. Thank you for that. Thanks for inadvertently stunting and letting us all know you guys are going to the finals. That's great. He also made it clear that he's enjoying Kevin Love playing center right now. He says it's a good look, and that's why they're able to ball. Now, the Cavs were actually doing really bad in the beginning of the season. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but it was being talked about the sky was falling basically because the Cavs were in like 12th place. But they figured things out because, like they're the Cavs, and they went through like Derrick Rose couldn't decide whether or not he wanted to play. They need to figure out their starting situation and all that. And now they're 24-10. They actually have the exact same amount of losses as the Celtics. Only difference is that the Celtics have played more games, because they've won more games, so they've played more games. So the Cavs are on their way. They're definitely on their way. And I mean, even though I'm on the West and like I do root for the Warriors, I am very happy to see the Cavs go ahead and bounce back. I am very much so. I will take my hat off to Kevin Durant though for balling. I definitely would, because as people felt like he channeled his inner Black Mamba, which I don't really like saying, because just because someone goes clutch, I don't really like us saying that they're Kobe. I don't think that Kobe's really good, and I know he said his whole goodbye last week, but I don't feel like we should do the whole, yo, if you're cold in the clutch, you're Kobe. Nah, we're not going to do that. It's not what we're going to do. So I do appreciate Kevin Durant doing his thing, and I did appreciate the finals preview that we did get. It was definitely a solid game. I want to see these two teams play though, what it's going to look like when Steph gets back and IT gets back. That's what I want to see, Steph and IT, because I mean, we kind of already have an idea of what the Warriors look like with Steph, but with Durant taking this role, which is, I actually want to say they did this last year. I want to say they did this last year around February. I want to say Steph Curry was hurt and Kevin Durant was balling. So they're doing that. They're doing that Laker thing that they used to do back in the day when Shaq was hurt. I'm doing air quotes. When Shaq was hurt for like 3 months of the season, and then he would come back and they would just ball. They're kind of doing that Laker thing, which I don't knock, because you can't rest the players, right? So you can't rest the players, and you get one injury, we're gonna let you just. We gotta make sure that you're not gonna re-injure yourself. But it's only a hangnail. I know you have a hangnail, but I seriously think it's best, since you missed one game, you go ahead and just miss these next 16, 17, so we can make sure your hangnail is gone and the new nail grows in. But coach, it doesn't make any sense. I'll tell you what makes sense. This record and your contract. That's what makes sense. You need to sit down and just rest your hangnail. So I'm fine with it. I'm fine. If Steph wants to sit out until the All-Star game, so be it. But I'm interested in seeing what happens when LeBron actually gets point guards on his team. IT, Derrick Rose. I mean, what's that going to look like? I would say he's been very prosperous when he's had a point guard who was, let's say pass first, or like role player point guard, like the Mo Williams, the Mario Chalmers, and Norris Coles, those guys, the guys who just have the guys whose job it is to have the ball when LeBron doesn't have the ball. They don't have anything else to do. Just have the ball when I don't have the ball. And other than that, if you get in trouble, pass me the ball. I feel like IT is like the perfect person for that, because he'll get you buckets. He'll get you buckets because he's sneaky fast and sneaky athletic. I'm not gonna. You know what? When people say sneaky, it just means like you don't look it. That's what people mean when they say sneaky. Like really, people say, "Oh, he's sneaky fast." No. That's just the cop out way to say you don't look like you'd be fast. So I'm not gonna say that. IT does look like he'd be fast because he's an NBA player. So when IT is back, I feel like he's going to be the perfect point guard for LeBron. Perfect. Because they say things like, oh, IT can't guard. People also have problems guarding IT. And because LeBron James plays an incredible amount of defense all over the floor, not Kawhi Leonard like, because again, like LeBron's aging a little bit, but because LeBron plays an amazing amount of D, IT's going to have some help on defense. It's going to be a great thing to watch. It's going to be a great thing to watch. I really believe so. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I get back, I'm going to tell you guys why, I'm going to tell you why LeBron said that he doesn't lose sleep over the finals loss anymore. Because he was asked about it, about whether or not, hey, are you still losing sleep over game 3? And I'm going to tell you what he said. I'm going to tell you why he said it. And I'm also going to explain to you why you shouldn't be mad or bothered by it. Be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines. They got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway. I'll just tell you guys about how I'm really looking forward to IT coming back to the Cavs. It's going to be a big thing. I can't wait. I don't really know if Derrick Rose is still coming back. I'm not sure what we're doing with that whole situation. I'd like to know, but he has to come back, because if he doesn't come back, then he has to give Adidas back like $80 million. So we'll not give them back, but he won't get it. And me, like, I know money isn't everything, but if your net worth is like 50 million and they say, hey, if you go back and play basketball, then we'll give you another 80 million, then I don't really think that your happiness matters anymore. I know that may sound kind of weird, but it can probably be stated in maybe a more intelligent manner, possibly. Like maybe I could say, yeah, so, when you measure the value versus opportunity costs and like the cost of effort and mental anguish and like cognitive energy and blah, 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 it would sound nicer. But my thing is, here's how I feel. If your net worth is 50 million and then you have to come back and play basketball for 2 more years to get $80 million, and you don't even have to be successful at basketball, you just have to wear a warm up and just be on someone's team, I think that you should come back and play basketball. If it makes you unhappy, I'm sorry, but like, you got to go buy some happiness. Yeah, just go buy it. Just go to Amazon, because Amazon has everything. If you go to Amazon, just type in happiness, and then they'll send it to you. If you get Prime, they'll send it to you in 2 days, maybe even same day. They'll have one of those workers that work for Amazon drop you off some happiness, and you'll be good. If you got $80 million, you can buy the happiness that has like higher ratings. You don't have to buy the bootleg happiness that they made overseas. You can get like some wait, is that going to come out right? We're already saying it. You can get some made in America happiness and just buy that, and then it'll be high quality. So yeah, Derrick Rose, we're waiting, dude. We're waiting. Anyway, this is what happened. So prior to the Christmas game, there were some interviews going on. They asked the players how it felt to play on Christmas, and they did some interviews and asked Kevin Durant, asked LeBron, and so on and so forth. I hate saying so on and so forth. I'm going to work on not saying that anymore, because just that cliche is so terrible. So they asked the players how they felt about playing on Christmas and things like that. And Kevin Durant said, yeah, it feels really good to play on Christmas. Feels special. I'm excited. Things like that. LeBron was asked how he felt about it. They asked him a bunch of questions. And, like, hey, about the finals game, and do you wish this? Do you wish that? So they asked him about the finals. LeBron said that, yeah, I still think about the finals sometimes, and there's plays I wish I had back. I gave Kevin Durant a little bit too much space on the 3-pointer. You guys remember that? When Kevin Durant was coming down, and then he pulled up for a 3, and like LeBron was kind of asleep low-key, and then he jumped up. It's like, oh no! And Kevin Durant hit his eye. So he said, wish he took that play back. Now, he was asked the question, does he lose sleep over game 3? And he said, no, he doesn't lose sleep over it. He said that he's more concerned about other things. Like, no, he said, does he still think about game 3? And he said, no, I don't think about game 3 at all. He said he still thinks about other things, like his family, and then his being successful, and his kids being successful in life as a whole, like everything that like matters more. And he said, I don't lose sleep over these games. I haven't lost sleep in a long time. And there was some uproar about it. I read like some quotes and some responses, and people felt like, oh, well, this is basketball, and this is supposed to be your one love, and you're supposed to love this, and how can he say he doesn't lose sleep over it? Do you think things that people say that probably have never been in a situation? And I do understand, right? So, I mean, if basketball players are being interviewed about basketball and they're asked particular questions about basketball and about basketball games, then, you want them to talk about basketball, right? So if you ask someone something regarding a game, then you wouldn't like for them to just reference like whatever else is going on in their lives, right? That's kind of the idea of this. So if they're doing interviews about a Christmas game and they're asking questions about the Christmas game, you'll want to know how players felt about the Christmas game and the rivalry and the Warriors and playing them again and everything within that whole microcosm of the Warriors versus Cavs rivalry. So when LeBron says, no, I don't think about that. I think about like my daughter meeting a nice man and getting married. And I think about my family, and I think about being successful. And I think about retiring, all this other stuff or whatever. It's a turnoff to people because they're like, oh, well, he should be talking about basketball. No one asked about his family, blah, 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 blah. But I see the other side of it because it's like you can only answer the same question so many times, right? So when they were asking the questions about the Christmas and it came into the finals and we're asking more and more questions about the finals from last year, I think as someone that's asking a question, you may set yourself up for that, right? Like, well, okay, well, this about the finals. Okay, now this about the finals. Okay, well, do you still think about it? No, I don't. I don't think about it because there's other stuff going on, like in life. There's other things going on, and I don't lose sleep over it. I don't lose sleep anymore. And I think that statement is very revealing to say I don't lose sleep anymore, because there was a time in LeBron James' career when there was so much scrutiny and criticism over everything he did. Whether he missed the last shot, whether he took the last shot, whether he made a great pass, whether he scored 20, whether he scored 40, whether he lost in the first round, second round, whatever. He's never lost in the first round. But it's just all this stuff, right? So from this, I don't lose sleep anymore. It's an acknowledgement that maybe at one point he did lose sleep, but now, I mean, he's been in the finals. Are we talking 7 straight? Are we talking 7 straight times? Like, and he's won 3 of them. So I'm not really sure if I have any beef with what he said. I don't. All it shows to me is that means that he wakes up, and he's also not the first person to say this, right? Like, Kevin Durant said it a few years ago. If I don't win a ring, it's not the end. It's not the be all end all. Like, it's not going to be the end of world. Aaron Rodgers said this. Said something similar just recently. He said actually in an interview, he said that he's won an NFL championship, and so he's been to the top of the game and all the way at the bottom of the game, and he realizes there's more to life like than this, which is an incredible statement, right? Because on one end, it's like, oh, well, I feel like athletes are criticized for not being introspective enough and not really noticing things outside of sports. But then when they do talk about things outside of sports, and they're criticized. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go down the path. I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole here. Don't get scared. Don't worry. I'm just saying that when someone says, do you lose sleep over this? If you ask me that type of question, I think you're setting yourself up for whatever answer I want to give you, because that's the problem with cliches. Like, if you ask someone a cliche and it has such, if you ask someone, like, it gives someone the opportunity to answer a cliche statement that also sounds like more or less, I'm going to say an exaggeration for the most part, then I think that like you're kind of going to get out hustled. You ask someone if they lose sleep over something, they're not going to take it as, does this cross your mind sometimes? They're going to take it as, do you lose sleep? And because everything is like recorded and published, and we have all this information, what people say all the time, then you're going to be careful of how you answer the statement. I'm never going to tell someone that I'm losing sleep over something that's over something such as trivial as a basketball game. It's never going to happen. He's been in the game since 2003. Like, I don't really think I don't think he's losing any sleep over that. Also, like, I mean, he may have lost to the Warriors last finals, but prior to that, he beat the Warriors, and they went and got Kevin Durant and then beat LeBron. So if I'm LeBron, I'm kind of feeling like, okay, well, you guys beat me, but you guys beat me, but you had to go get Kevin Durant to do it. I'm fine with it. I'm okay. If that's what happened, then that's what happened. So for LeBron to say I don't lose sleep over that, I'm okay with it. I mean, Derrick Rose at one point, he kind of made a statement similar where people were upset about it. Like, he said that when he was asked about the contract he received from the Bulls, he said something along the lines of, I'm thinking about my future because I want to be able to walk my daughter down the aisle and go to my kid's graduation. Now, that statement, it makes complete sense. He's thinking about your future. That's 100% fine. I'm okay with it. I'm completely okay with you thinking about your future. That question was asked in reference to like his contract that he signed and when he would be coming back to play, which might be a little bit different, but I mean, if we ask these questions and these are the answers that we're going to get, right? Prior to the game, an interesting thing about this situation is that I heard about LeBron giving this answer, right? And I'm thinking that this is an answer that was given like after the Christmas game. Like, okay, I could see how people would be offended after the Christmas game because fans are sitting down with their families and like maybe this is a tradition where they want to watch the Cavs play the Warriors, and after the game they hear LeBron say that, hey, this doesn't matter as much. I can see how that might be offensive or how that can maybe rub someone the wrong way. I get it. Makes sense. But so when I was looking for the quote, I couldn't find it. I was looking for post-Christmas game interview, but I'm looking for all these post-Christmas game interviews, and all the interviews that I'm finding, he's talking about the game. Like, he's saying, hey, this is what happened. The team played great. JR dived on a loose ball. Kevin Love played great. We got our butts kicked on transition. Kevin Durant may have fouled me. He plays great defense. Me, him, and Kawhi play great defense. Bless up to the Warriors. All this stuff. So the post-game interviews were great, but the criticism came from LeBron about a question that he was asked on Christmas Eve, like the day before they're practicing for the game. Now, if it's Christmas Eve, I'm gonna go home, spend it with my family, and I gotta go play a basketball game the next day, and you're asking about if I'm losing sleep about something that happened a year ago, I feel like for the time that we're in, depending on like where your life is at, the 24th, the 25th, family time, like being grateful for what's happening in life. I feel like it kind of be arrogant to say, yeah, I'm losing sleep over that a year ago. No. I mean, what kind of life do you live if you're still like losing sleep over that a year ago? If like life is great, you just signed a contract with Nike for $1 billion. Like you're playing in your home city. What more could you want? So I commend him for his answer. I have no problem with it. I genuinely don't. Anyone that is losing sleep over something that happened a year ago, unless you're Matt Ryan or maybe Ronda Rousey or I don't know. I feel like everyone else should be fine. But I mean, I'm fine with LeBron's answer. I'm 100% okay with it. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. And then when I get back, I'm going to tell you guys about these, about some potential trades that might pop off. No. I'm going to tell you about some other accolades that were reached during the Christmas Day games. I'm also tell you about some trades that I feel like are, well, not really trades, but like free agent type of moves that can happen because these contracts are going to be up and we're going to be in some interesting situations. So bear with me. I'm gonna pay a quick bill and I'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on the GSMC Podcast Network for all of your podcasting needs. So, in case you guys missed the last segment, I was just telling you guys about how when LeBron was asked about like the finals from a year ago, not a year ago, but June, which is, I'm going to say it's a year ago, maybe 6 months ago. I like saying a year. Fine. So as I won the finals for a year ago, it's like 6 months ago. And he basically said that he isn't currently like losing sleep about it. Like he's completely okay. He's completely okay with it because basically he has other things to be like worried about. He doesn't really lose sleep about that. Like he thinks about family stuff, thinks about other things that he has going on when it comes to losing sleep. So he doesn't lose sleep over games anymore because, he didn't really say why, but I'm assuming it's because of the stuff that he's been through in basketball. Like he's seen it all. He's taken L's in the finals, got W's in the finals. He scored 60 points. He scored 20 points. He's seen it all. He doesn't lose sleep over basketball anymore. And it seemed like that was like a problem for people. So, I basically told you guys why it wasn't a problem and why he's awesome and why that shouldn't necessarily take away from his greatness. So with LeBron, though, he's one of these people that is going to be eligible for this free agency in the summer. So these aren't really trade talks, but these are like free agent possible type of moves that could happen, which I think some of them are kind of scary. Kind of scary. So first, well, let me explain something like how some of these things work. So there were a few trades that happened that kind of like blew our minds over like, let's say the last season or two maybe, right? And some of these trades were like made just so that players that didn't want to play in certain places could be moved and then other teams can get stuff before those players just leave and they get nothing. You want an example? Okay, sure. So when LeBron left the Cavs and he wasn't sure if he was going to stay or not, they could have traded him, but they didn't trade him because he's LeBron and he didn't say whether or not he was going to go. So they just wanted to roll the dice. So when he left, they got nothing for him, like absolutely nothing at all. They just didn't get anything. I mean, I think the Heat showed love and got like the Heat showed love and gave the Cavs a couple picks, I believe. But other than that, like he just walked away. They didn't get anything from it at all. And that's kind of how it happens when you just have to have to move someone away. And that way you can get like anything from just to move them and try to get a pick or whatever. It happens a lot in February where players get traded before the trade deadline. February comes and if someone has a contract that's expiring in like, let's say June, right? You may take a player you have and trade him to like a playoff team, or you may trade him to like a playoff team so that team can do better in the playoffs. And then your team will get like some picks or whatever. And that player's only going to be there for like several months from February to June because his contract's going to expire in the summer. So this happened with Boogie, with DeMarcus Cousins. He got moved from the Kings to the Pelicans last year, and his free agency is going to be up in the summer. This also happened with Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas got moved to the Cavs. Free agency is going to be up in the summer. That's why this is a big contract year for him. They call this a contract year because this is a year you got to put on your show so you can get your buckets so they can go ahead and re-sign you. Some places you don't have to put on the show, but some places you do. For example, well, not put on the show, but people aren't thinking about keeping you. Like DeMarcus Cousins on the Pelicans, they're not thinking about keeping him. They love to keep him. When it comes to Isaiah Thomas on the Cavs, they don't know. He's hurt. He may come back and be good. May come back and might not be good. This is the same way Paul George ended up on OKC, right? Because Paul George's contract was going to be up next free agency, like next summer, but like the Pacers were like, yo, we're not just gonna like sit here and just hang out, like let you just walk off. Like we gotta make a move. So they couldn't get him to LA, they couldn't work that out completely, so they just traded him to OKC and they got Oladipo, and now the Pacers are fine. So this happens often where people are just getting rid of people because you gotta cut your loss. If the person doesn't want to stay there, if they're not gonna re-sign the contract, gotta get rid of them. So with these expiring contracts coming this summer, we got some scary things that may occur. There's a possibility. I mean, some of these things are kind of outlandish, but it'd be outstanding to think about it. So we got, if LeBron went to the Rockets, I don't know if there's enough ball for everyone there, but Chris Paul and LeBron and James Harden, I think this would be a solid move because it would take a lot of pressure off of LeBron. Like you have a real point guard there, and you have the best scorer in the NBA, James Harden. He's the best scorer in the NBA because he can score from anywhere on the court, and he can facilitate from anywhere on the court because he leads the NBA in assists. Like he has the most assists in the NBA and scores almost the most points. Like he's the best scorer, period. So it would take a lot of pressure off LeBron, take a lot of pressure off James Harden. I mean, they'd be pretty cold. I mean, they still have Nene, they still have Ariza shooting threes, they still have Ryan Anderson shooting threes. They'd be a pretty cold team with LeBron. I mean, that's something that could happen. LeBron did his whole I'm gonna sign a year extension thing again, and we don't really know where he's gonna go. I personally don't see why he would go to the Lakers, just because the Lakers already have like this legacy there, and they have Lonzo Ball there, and Lonzo Ball and LeBron basically play the same position. And I'm not 100% sure if Magic would just want to like give the reins to LeBron. Like, here, yo, take this team. Even though Magic wants to win, and Magic is all about marketing, but do you really just want to like give the whole Lakers to LeBron? Is that what you want to do? I mean, it's great. It's great for the paper. And if people set their pride aside, I think it'd be a good idea. I just think the Lakers are trying to do this thing where they want to rebuild and be good for a long time, not just do like a quick month-to-month contract with LeBron. Like, hey, come here for like a year so we can sell some tickets and then you can shake. I don't know if they want to do that. I think they want to have like an exponential increase, build a core, and be good for like the next like 5 or 10 years. I feel like that's their plan. Who knows? Next, this sounds weird. I don't really know how this will work out, but DeMarcus Cousins going to the Cavaliers. Now, DeMarcus Cousins on the Cavaliers with LeBron, I don't really know if that would be something that will really work out, just because like DeMarcus Cousins shoots threes, and I feel like LeBron likes the big man that does big man stuff. Like he likes the Tristan Thompsons and don't make me say in the Joel Anthonys and the Kevin Loves and the Bosses. And and don't get me wrong, like I know that Kevin Love and Chris Bosh, they shoot a three here and there, but they would get down low and get dirty. Now, and DeMarcus Cousins gets down low and gets dirty, but when he wants to shoot a three, he's going to pull up. He's going to pull up like a guard shooting a three. I don't know if him and LeBron could like really work that out, because sometimes Boogie Cousins will even play the point. Like he'll just push the rock down the floor and there's no problem with it. I don't know how LeBron would feel about his center just pushing the rock. I'm not sure, but they'd be a force if you'd have DeMarcus Cousins and Love and Tristan Thompson all just down low. So I don't even know, what do you do? Do you move You move Tristan to the center and move Kevin Love to the 3. That's so many bodies, and then IT a point, or that their rebounding stats like would just be something out of this world. And again, like it would take pressure off LeBron. Like say if DeMarcus Cousins would just take the ball from him and push the ball down the court. You got a big man that's got to pick up DeMarcus Cousins at full court, so that big man can't cheat. So DeMarcus Cousins can outlet the ball to LeBron running the lane. Oh my, dude, that'd be something else. That's something to watch. Something I think that everyone in the world would probably. I think the world would explode if this happened. I don't really know how it would fit, but PG-13 to the Dubs. Now, I feel like for that to happen, they'd have to like get rid of Klay Thompson. I don't really know why they would need. I don't know why they would need 2 small forwards. Like I'm not sure how that work out. There's just not enough ball. The thing is, it'd be great if you could play them all at the same time. Like, can you play Steph Curry, Klay, PG, Dre, and Kevin Durant? Is that a doable? You know what? I think it is doable, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because, like, if Paul George knows that there's gonna be passing, that there's gonna be like cutter passing, then he'll cut. I've seen it before. He'll cut if there's gonna be cutter passing. Right now on OKC, I don't see a lot of cutter passing, but Paul George has no problem getting his own shot. The way the Warriors move the ball around the court, I see Paul George being able to thrive in that offense. He's not gonna have 30. He'll have a smooth 21, maybe 19, 18, but there'd be games where he would have 40, and there'd be games where he'd have 13. So I don't necessarily know if he'd be okay with that transition, with that change, but it'd be something to see. Also, I'm wondering if they would do this because Klay is going to want his money eventually. Like if Klay and Dre, they're going to want their money, and they're champions. They have 2 rings. They can go anywhere and play just for the resume. I personally believe that Paul George is better than Draymond Green, but as far as like intangibles and like emotional leadership, what Draymond Green brings to the Warriors is priceless. I'm not sure if Paul George could bring that. I don't even know how that would work out. Unless he was in a situation where he's like, yo, I want to take a pay cut to win. That'd be something that could happen. But other than that, I feel like Paul George really, really wants to be a Laker. I mean, that's the buzz anyway. The buzz is that he really extraordinarily wants to be a Laker, and that's on his plan. I heard a little something about Isaiah Thomas going to the Timberwolves, which I don't really understand because they already have Jeff Teague, and I don't really know what you would do with both of them unless IT's going to be coming off of your bench. I feel like IT wants that big contract, but he also wants to win. And I don't know if he wants to come back to the West Coast because he was over here playing for the Suns, and I think he's for the Suns and the Kings, and he's seen that whole battle. After being on great teams, I don't really know how we would feel about going to the Wolves. Plus, they have Jeff Teague, and they're almost the same person. So not sure. Illest thing, best thing, most outstanding thing that I think I've heard is DeAndre Jordan going to the Bucks. Now, all of the Bucks, like everyone on the Bucks everyone on the Bucks is incredibly long. Like if they all touched hands, if like their whole starting lineup touched hands, they'd like reach from like the Bay Area, from the Bay Bridge all the way to the Brooklyn Bridge. That's how long they are. They're just super long. They're long people. DeAndre Jordan in the mix too. I don't even know how that would even be fair. I don't even know how it would be fair. You get Bledsoe and Dre Jordan back together. Yeah, they played for the Clippers together a long time ago. I mean, I'm gonna be kind of afraid of the Bucks. It's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a really big thing if he wants to go to the Bucks. Now these free agent moves, they're not concrete. None of them may even happen, but I think it's fun to think about. Just because with all these expiring contracts coming up and all these players in situations to pick their own destiny, I don't like the word super team because it makes it seem like there's something bad, there's something wrong with. It's like, to me it sounds condescending to make it sound like it's bad to go want the best competitive edge possible. So with these players being able to choose their own destiny and like go find the best possible chance to win, I think it's great. I think it's very solid. And with all this happening, I think we're looking towards a great summer. for free agency, especially because a lot of different teams are good. So it's going to change it where people can go. And some teams don't even have space to like have great players. So I think, if we had like a LeBron go to the Lakers or to the Rockets, the Knicks, who knows? Who knows what could happen? I think I'm looking forward to the summer, very much so. I'm going to enjoy the basketball we have now. I'm grateful for the basketball we have now. However, just know that this summer, it's going to be hot for free agency, very hot. That's a pun, because depending on where you live at, if your summers aren't very hot, then that pun won't work for you. But if your summer is hot, then it's fine. I appreciate that. I'm gonna pay another bill, take another quick break, and when I get back, hopefully, you guys will still be here because I have your NBA history, and I have the game of the night, and I also have the pick of the night. Be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on the GSMC Podcast Network. As promised, wait, let me just wrap some up for you guys. Real quick, I told you last segment about how the Rockets were going to get LeBron. Oh, that blow your mind? That blow your mind? All right, well, I hope it did because it might happen, might not, I don't know, but it sounds really good. So this is what we have. As promised, I told you guys I'm going to start doing is telling you something that happened in NBA history several years ago. Maybe it'll be 40, maybe it'll be 10. The longer amount of time it is ago, I'm going to say like the better it'll be, as long as it's like recognizable type of thing. Like I'm not just going to say something like, oh, hey, this time 30 years ago, John Smith scored 11 straight 3-pointers, because if it was like 60 years ago, I don't really think, I think that is interesting. If he hit 11 straight, you know what? That's a bad example because 11 straight threes would be impressive. I'll take that back. Anyway, this is what I have for you. It's the complete opposite of 11 straight threes. And 1991. So, how long ago was that? Was that 26 years ago. All right. So, 26 years ago, Tim Hardaway of the Golden State Warriors, his son actually plays for the Knicks now. Tim Hardaway Jr. plays for the Knicks. But Tim Hardaway of the Golden State Warriors, he went 0 for 17 in a 106-102 overtime win at Minnesota. So this game actually went into overtime. That means there were 5 quarters. Tim Hardaway holds the NBA record for the most field goals attempted with none made in a game. 0 for 17. Now, let me get a little intrinsic with this. Okay. He shot 0 for 17. This is the year 2017. So for anyone that had like a bad year or whatnot, or if things didn't quite work out for you and you tried really hard, keep trying. Keep trying, because we're all going to face some adversity. Sometimes you're going to go 0 for 17. So if you didn't do very well this year, and this year wasn't your year, just consider this Tim Hardaway's Minnesota game. 0 for 17. But he kept shooting, though. It doesn't say anywhere in here that like he stopped shooting after the second quarter. You just keep shooting. You just keep shooting and keep shooting and keep shooting. And I didn't even know that this happened. But 106-102 in overtime, which is crazy because like that score is really low compared to like our NBA of now. So an overtime score right now would probably be, I don't know, let's say like 123 to 117 maybe. And we'll compare 0 for 17 to like 0 for 21, like in real life. But he kept shooting the ball. It didn't matter. He kept shooting. So this is what I need you to do. Keep shooting. And that was 26 years ago today on December 27th. The game of the night I want you guys to watch is going to be, I'm going to call this like an imaginary finals preview, because I'd really like to see these two teams play in the finals. I'd want to see, not even in the finals, just in the playoffs, but they won't because they're in different conferences. It's going to be OKC against the Toronto Raptors. The reason why I'm really excited about this game is because I really enjoy watching DeMar DeRozan play. He's got some of the most underrated footwork in the league. His footwork game is nice. Like him, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and when I say footwork game, I mean like when they're in the triple threat. Like it's something else. And he's not even like that great of like a 3-point shooter, but he still gets buckets. So I enjoy watching DeMar DeRozan play. I think watching DeMar DeRozan go up against Westbrook is going to be a great matchup, and I think that you guys will enjoy it. My pick of the night, as far as what you're going to do to make a little bit of cheddar, is going to be this. Don't get outraged by how large the number is. Okay. I don't want you to get scared, but right now the line is 9.5. It's Cleveland minus 9.5 against Sacramento. The reason I want you to take this game is because the Cavaliers haven't played since Christmas. And the Kings played last night against the Clippers. They lost against the Clippers, but playing the Clippers is exhausting. It can be exhausting. Even though they're not even good right now, it can just be exhausting because they're holding on for dear life, trying to stay relevant, because Blake Griffin's supposed to come back on Friday, I believe, or something like that. And when he does come back, which I don't personally think he should come back that fast. I'm going to talk about that on Friday because he's going to come back on Friday. But yeah, I say you guys should take the Cavs because the Cavs are exactly 3 wins behind the Celtics as far as like ranking goes. And I think I don't really see them coming to Sacramento and then not dogging the Kings. So I would take, if I were you, I would take the Cavs minus 9.5 because the Kings just played yesterday. The Cavs haven't played since Monday, and I think they're going to be pretty fresh, especially. And I'm not just saying they're going to win. Like, this isn't about them winning. I feel like they're going to win convincingly because it's minus 9.5. I don't feel like that's going to be a difficult task for them to overcome. With that, that's the end. So I thank you guys for hanging out. I know the hiatus was kind of long because, we had a lot of time. We had the holidays, but I'm back now. I'm back for you. And you could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. So, as I always ask, I'd appreciate if you guys live long, prosper, and to watch for potholes.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.